The Princess of Wales has carried out a major role at the French state visit by joining Prince William to welcome French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte to the UK. As the doors of the plane opened, the President made his way down the steps first onto the red carpet, followed by the First Lady, where they were met by the Ambassador of the French Republic, Helena Duchesne. Mr. and Mrs. Macron were then welcomed by future King and Queen, William and Kate. The President warmly shook the Prince's hand and held onto his arm as they chatted. Mr. Macron then took the Princess's hand and delivered a gallant air kiss towards it. In a carefully thought-out outfit with a nod to their guests, Kate wore French fashion house Christian Dior and a hat by Jess Collett. Her earrings belonged to Diana, Princess of Wales, and the pearl necklace was from the late Queen's collection. The Christian Dior jacket is the 30 Montaigne Rose des Vents bar jacket and a piece from the 2024 collection. It was reimagined by Maria Grazia Chiuri, who was inspired by the original, first created in 1947 by Christian Dior himself. Also lining the red carpet to greet the Macrons were members of the King's Colour Squadron of the Royal Air Force at RAF Northolt. Among the others in the welcome party were Sir Kenneth Olisa, the Lord Lieutenant of Greater London, Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Sir Mark Rowley, and Station Commander of RAF Northolt, Group Captain Jonathan Huff. Later this morning, King Charles and Queen Camilla will formally greet their guests on a royal dais constructed on Datchet Road in Windsor Town Centre, with the castle in the backdrop as gun salutes sound in nearby Home Park. The King, the Queen, the Waleses and Mr. and Mrs. Macron will then take a carriage procession through Windsor and along part of the Long Walk which leads to the castle, just as former French President Nicolas Sarkozy did in 2008. The arrangements are likely to form the template for U.S. President Donald Trump's high-profile state visit in September, but much will depend on security considerations for the U.S. leader, who survived an assassination attempt last year. A ceremonial welcome will be staged in the castle's quadrangle with Camilla, William, Kate and Mrs. Macron watching as the King and Mr. Macron inspect the Guard of Honor. Lunch will be hosted in the state dining room, after which the President and his wife, the King and Queen and members of the royal family will view a special exhibition of items relating to France from the royal collection in the Green Drawing Room. Mr. and Mrs. Macron will also travel to London this afternoon to see the grave of the unknown warrior at Westminster Abbey and visit the Palace of Westminster, where the French leader will address parliamentarians before meeting opposition leaders at Lancaster House. The King and President will both deliver speeches at the state banquet this evening in the medieval St. George Hall, where some 160 guests will be seated at the elaborately decorated 50 meters table, which will run the full length of the vast room. Kensington Palace has yet to confirm whether Kate will attend the banquet. During his speech, the King will stress the vital partnership between France and the UK in the face of a multitude of complex threats. As France and the UK are expected to announce a joint plan on small boat crossings, the King will highlight how these challenges know no borders, adding no fortress can protect us against them this time. At a glittering banquet in the historic Berkshire landmark this evening, the monarch will deliver a speech, adding, "As friends and as allies, we face them together." The King will also tell Mr. Macron that Britain and France can help lead the way in confronting threats relating to defense, technology and climate change, saying, "Our two nations share not only values, but also the tireless determination to act on them in the world. The King, in his toast, will reflect on 1,000 years of shared history and culture between our two peoples, including many of the royal family's personal connections to France. For centuries our citizens have admired each other, amused each other, and imitated each other, he will say, and reveal how he remains in awe of France's extraordinary attributes and achievements. Charles will also hail the Anglo-French partnership as vital amid the many challenges of today, saying, "Our two countries face a multitude of complex threats, emanating from multiple directions. As friends and as allies, we face them together." It marks the first state visit to the UK by an EU head of state since Brexit, and will see Mr. Macron address parliamentarians in the Palace of Westminster's Royal Gallery and, on Thursday, join a UK-France summit at Downing Street. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has signalled a reset in relations between the UK and Europe as he looks to heal the wounds caused by the Brexit years. Defence, growth, security, migration and French tactics on tackling small boats will be discussed, with the two leaders expected to dial in to speak to other allied nations who are looking to support any future peace deal in Ukraine. Downing Street said on Monday that the UK's relationship with France was key to dealing with boat crossings, following reports French police officers had used knives to puncture a boat off the coast.